What's your superpower on today's Unnamed Real Estate Podcast? Well, I might be moving slow today, but at least I'm still moving. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I am the associate broker and sales manager, residential sales manager for ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 53, starting off the new year and everything. So, we got a topic of today's podcast. What's your superpower? Came up when I was discussing with one of my protege agents. We were going through his offers that he'd been making out because it's a hard life out there for a real estate agent right now, and they're on like their 10th offer on a property and whatnot. And so we did a review of his offers that he had been making, comparing them to the properties, and seeing what he could do to make his offers a little bit more attractive to the sellers. And so that's where I came with the term. You got to find out what your buyer's superpower is. And I want to go into this by showing you the numbers and where we're at today and how this is going. I know, big eye rolls. Ray's going into the numbers again. Yes, Ray is going into the numbers again. I'm also going to try to do this whole thing on one shot, so this is going to look a little bit different than normal. So let's see. So for February 2nd, 2022, all right, our actives this week are 4,733. We're down 113 from last week. Our new listings this week are 2,214, up 32. Our pendings this week are 1,939, which is down 222. And our contracts looking for backups are 1,056, down 12. Contracts with buyer's contingency is at 78, which is down 6. And we had 2,097 closings last week, which is up 376 from the week before, and we are also looking at 950 new properties coming on the market soon. So that being said, I wanted to show you my Excel spreadsheet that every Wednesday morning I sit and I punch these things in. And like I mentioned before, I started this basically for my own knowledge and to use it so I could start tracking trends in real estate. And this list here goes all the way back to 16th of March, and that is March 2020. We go all the way through all of last year and then into this. And what I'm specifically wanted to show you is that, as we can see, our actives, the last time we had more properties on the market than the week before was back in December 1st, right? So we've gone through 2 straight months of listing decline, and starts off pretty heavy. And that's the seasonality that we see. People who are just not interested in putting their houses on the market. All right, so we start seeing less houses go on the market during that time period. We see a little rush, and that's how this changes out. All right. And you will see, standard accounting practices, every red number that you see is a negative. That's numbers being less than the prior one. Right. And you can see here's our seasonality, our Christmas die-off. Everybody just basically quits transacting houses, so the rest, so real estate agents can go out there, catch themselves a COVID at an opportune moment, so they're not really missing any business time. And then we see everything start picking up the beginning of the year, and right on track. You suddenly see less listings. We don't want to list a house before Christmas, to let's start putting the houses on the market. And we're starting to see that slow up. Second week was that big push. We had 591 over the week before, and we're still climbing, but the climb rate is starting to get a little bit slower. Sort of concerning to me. All right, not majorly concerning, but we need more houses on the market right now. We have less houses on the market right now than we had before, but we have more listings. Remember, Tina talks about that bathtub. All right, faucet's on, but the drain is still draining out. When you see pending UCB, all right, under contract looking for backups or buyer's contingency, this is the water coming out of the bathtub. And so this week, the main reason why I wanted to show you these numbers is to go, here's something really weird, right? We almost very, very small difference, okay, than the prior week. Only 32 more homes got put on the market last week than the week prior. Right? But our pendings dropped 222. That's less houses going under contract. All right, contracts, houses looking for a backup. There's less there. Buyer's contingency, we actually went down. All right, so this is just a week. This could just be statistically weird, one of those little fluky, hey, that's funny, that, you know, gets recovered next week or whatnot. But this is not the numbers I really wanted to see. I would want to see actives going through the roof. I want everybody and their dog who has a house to be trying to sell their house right now. If it's time for them to move out of that, maybe upsize to a house, downsize to a house, whatever. So we're going to keep tracking on this. I did notice our coming soons. All right, I do not do the weekly tracking on these things, but as you can see, our coming soons, you know, at a low of December 29th at 355. All right, now we're up to 950. That suggests we're going to have more properties coming on the market, and we really like to see that. We're also could have some issues, you know, with the closings and everything, just basically because we just went through the end of the month with this week's numbers. So that's everything. Everybody trying to close earlier. So, you know, we can keep seeing this, and I know there's a certain subset of people out there who just sort of kind of got really excited about the whole thing. The people who are sitting there waiting for the bubble to burst. All right, and we all know who they are. So the article that came out this morning from Imam, which is one of our, it's one of our news sites, news organizations that are here. Basically, they do real estate news for real estate professionals. And in this, they make a really, really compelling case. And the reason why I say really, really compelling is because they're saying the things I've been saying for the last 6 months. All right. You want me to believe that you're an expert in something? Believe what I believe. And don't get too cocky, because we all do that. All right. If anything, the last 2 years has proven us we are really good at glomming on and listening to somebody who's telling us what we want to hear. But in this, same thing. This is different than the 07 housing bubble. We're not, you know, we're not in a bubble, right? We're in a state of limited supply, and that limited supply with increased demand is raising prices. Economics 101. This article really does get into a little bit of happy detail and stuff like that, talking about the different loan types and how things are different with loans today. We have safer loans. We don't have those ninja loans out there where you could just, you fogged up a mirror, you got a loan. We don't have adjustable rate mortgages, I think, are out there, but you know, they're not as heavily pushed as they were before. People are less interested in going into that because they saw what happened. Either it happened to themselves, or they saw what happened to their parents or their friends and family of when somebody got screwed up with an adjustable rate loan. And then you don't get into an adjustable rate loan when interest rates are going up, and interest rates are going up. So, you know, was a major reason why we had that crash, is those adjustable rate mortgages coming soon, and people being given money in loans that they really should not have had in the first place. And that's what kicked everything loose on that. So, you know, like I said, we're not seeing a bubble, and you can poke that thing as long as you want to. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. So, other article on this that I wanted to pull out and see if I can just go straight to it was this article here about why I didn't sell my home. And basically the whole thing boils down to, they listed the house, they were going to sell the house, they had a last big dinner party at their house, you know, sort of the last hurrah, and they realized they loved their home. And they didn't want to leave their home. Right? So, the story does tell about how they told the real estate agent after they got presented a above asking offer, above list price asking offer, that they tell the real estate agent, hey, no, we really don't want to sell the house. You know, and of course I'm feeling for the agent at that point, because, you know, hey, the sucker's in the bag, let's go. And then all of a sudden they decide they don't want, but they were nice enough to actually send him a check. You know, which was nice because if this is the house that they were talking about, that's professional photography. That agent was probably about $1,000 or more into marketing that property that they just decided to take off the market. So the reasoning behind this article, though, was it's just a little story. All right, it's a little story about somebody who decided to take their house off the market. But what it does show is that people are staying in their homes longer. We have less reasons to move than people did traditionally. My brother-in-law just moved jobs. All right. He's not having to move across country for his new job. He had a job offer in San Diego, but they wanted him to move to San Diego because they wanted to see somebody come into the office, every week, and he wasn't available for that. He wants to stay where he's at, where his family's at. So he found a job. I think the office is actually based out in New York City, but he's working from home. And so we do, you've seen me discuss in other episodes and whatnot, what I call the churn, right? How life cycle of a house, people go through 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 houses over the course of their lifetime, and they're moving up, they're getting more kids, so they need a bigger house. The kids launch. They go to a smaller house. Maybe they keep that house if they got like one of their parents who are going to come stay with them. The churn's starting to slow down quite a bit. And I covered an article last week or last year, and I've said this to my clients before. We are getting at the point where you need to buy the house that you can pretty much say the only way I leave this house is when I do eventually go into a nursing home or into an assisted care facility, if people prefer to call it that, or whatever, or downsize, but we're not doing that constant buy-up thing. And that means less housings on the market. And that leads us to what I want to discuss and what I wanted to say of identifying your buyer's superpower. And if you are a buyer listening to this, identifying your superpower. The case in point, my protege, my Padawan, who were doing this, his client has a superpower. His client also has kryptonite, all right, which we will also discuss, but his client has a superpower. His superpower is that he is a handyman, all right? And so his superpower is he can go into any house out there and pretty much make it the house he wants it to be. So he can start looking at houses that don't have perfect flooring, that needs to be painted, needs to have an updated kitchen. He wants all of that. But now he can start looking at the lower price points that he might be more competitive making offers at, and then get that house and use his superpower to turn it into his home. So other superpowers that exist is the most famous superpower out there is Batman. Batman's superpower. What is his superpower? He has money. He's a billionaire, right? Possibly the most powerful superpower in real estate right now is be able to just throw cash at the problem and not have to worry about the appraisal, not have to worry about, escalating this and that and the other thing, and just throw money at the problem, makes it go away. So that's a real common. Now some people have limited, powers when it comes to that. Some people, we're putting 20% down on a conventional loan, but we also qualify for a 5% down conventional loan. That means you have 15% to play with, all right? So you can start offering in the contract, we will pay up to, just throwing it out there, 15% of purchase price or 15% over appraisal price if the appraisal misses at this. And that's really something sellers are interested in, especially if the seller is working with a good agent and the selling agent is trying to explain to him, we can have 2 people. This person wants to spend the money. This person wants to take the money. Everybody's happy. And then this evil appraiser pops up in the middle and screws up everybody's dream. Right? And the seller should know that. When you are on the seller side and you're getting an offer, that is outside what your agent says that the place will appraise for, you have to worry about, if I accept this offer and the appraisal comes in where everybody thinks the appraisal is going to come in, which is $20,000 less, what am I going to do? Am I going to just drop the price to that? Drop the overall price? Or am I going to have them kick something in? We're going to have a conversation about these things. So being able to present that first offer in there, it's like, yeah, we'll pay up, $10,000-$15,000 over appraisal in case the appraisal misses, is a really good superpower. Other superpowers that you might have is you could be the Flash. All right, you could be able to be very quick to the house and very quick to get an offer in. Last year, back during the craziness, that couple's superpower was that the wife worked from home, and that house could hit the market at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we could be there at 9:30 in the morning and look at it. And she had buyer's rights. She had the ability to say yes. And then we'll bring the husband in and see if he finds any reason why he's not buying this house. That's a superpower. Right? If the ability to move quickly and make a decision quickly and get that offer written and get that offer in the seller's hands by 5 o'clock, just when all the other buyers are just getting off work, just getting together with the real estate agents, just driving out over there, there's already an offer in hand, right? That is written in such a way that it's not going to go, this offer does not last till the weekend, and you put this out there on a Wednesday, right? You got till Thursday night to get it to us, because we don't want Friday people looking at it. We don't want Saturday people. And you don't want to be, nice thing about occupied houses, right? The sellers don't want to have to leave the house all the time, right? Every time someone wants to come look at their house. So if you're coming out on Wednesday and saying, hey, I can give you your weekend back, accept our offer, you're good. You like everything on the offer. That's a superpower, right? So one of the superpower. Let me see. What else can we just start doing that? So we've talked about the speed. We've talked about the ability to look at houses and fix houses because you have the skill sets, or you have access to the skill sets to fix these things. We also talked about just being able to throw money at it. There's other things. Everybody's got their own little unique scenarios and unique visions. If you are looking for a house and the seller has the requirement that they need to lease the property back, meaning they want to sell the house, but then they want to go find a place of their own, or they have to wait for the builders to finish building, or whatever it is. If you have a place to stay, even if it's with your folks, even if it's with your ex-wife, that's a superpower, all right? The ability to say, we don't actually have to take possession at this particular point. Right. We can look at the properties that says there's a tenant in place until October 1st. Right. If you don't need to have keys and be in that place before October 1st, I mean need to, like Van Down by the River need to, right? That's your superpower when it comes to it. So if you're an agent watching this, you can use your own terminology, right? I tend to deal with a lot of the geek and nerd crowd, right? Comic-Con, that kind of stuff, right? So I use superpower as a terminology because that pretty much works for about a good 75 to 80% of my clientele. And everybody understands what Batman is. Everybody understands Superman. You might want to come up with your own way, your negotiation strengths or whatever it is. But start using this when you're dealing with your buyers. When that buyer is onboarding and you're just getting them set up, ask them the questions and discover what their superpower is, right? And go, okay, what can we use to leverage in this market that gives you a better chance of getting your offer accepted? And if you're a buyer coming online, start thinking about what your superpower is. Right? Your superpower, like I said, might be you have mom and dad will let you go crash on their couch until this closes. Right? That could be your superpower. You could be looking at it and going, well, maybe if I do have 20% down, it's not quite Batman superpower, but it's still leverage. Right? The fact that you have that ability to go to a 5% down and take the rest of the cash you have and do something with it, or keep 5% down, keep the cash in hand, and now you can buy the house with the ugly kitchen, right? Because you got 15% of the purchase price in your pocket to get a new kitchen installed. That one I wouldn't use too much right now because we all know about the appliance issues, everything like that, and trying to get a contractor out on anything is really rough. But normal market, that's a really great superpower to have. So anyways, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can always leave them in the show notes below. This is pretty much going to be, wrapped up everything I wanted to say. The coming up in the next couple of weeks or so, like I said, I was doing the reviews, the movie reviews and stuff like that. I would like to get back to it. Doing the year review and stuff made me realize how much I really, really liked doing the interview stuff. I actually introduced two of the guys I interviewed with, Jim and Pat. I introduced them to each other. They're forming like some sort of partnership action going on over there. So we'll see how that works out for them. Maybe I'll bring Pat or Jim back in for that. I'm also meeting with escrow officer, my favorite escrow officer in the entire world. Tomorrow here at the office, we're going to do some planning and strategy talks, and maybe I could talk her into being on camera. Maybe not tomorrow. We're both got scheduled, but maybe coming soon. So. Well, thank you very much. We got 1 month in the can. We are now into February, and so I think the next holiday is St. Patrick's Day. Groundhog Day was pretty much, I don't think we had any ritual killings of groundhogs this year, so that was pretty not a thing. But thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm supposed to say click subscribe, and then hit the bell to notify and all that other stuff. If you came to hear us on a Facebook link, share the Facebook link. Especially, like I said, if you got anybody out there who's getting ready to buy a house, doesn't even need to be in this state, they probably need to know about the superpower that they may or may not have. Forward this link over to them. All right. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great weekend.